Thank you very much, Shade Maxwell. That's the correct name, right? And I gather she's the president of the Student Council. Yes? Very good. It's a very, very powerful position in the school. Yes, I was once president of the Student Council of the school that I attended. So I'm certain that you are destined for greater things. Mr. Gregory Pullen, chairman of the Board of Governors of Penwood High School, and I'm certain, without question, without fear of contradiction, that he's doing an amazing job. Madam Principal, but I know he's doing an amazing job. I can tell when I enter the school, when a school is improving, when its management and leadership is working, it is palpable just by entering the institution. And I can say that the leadership of the school, that is the chairman of the Board of Governors and the principal, are doing an amazing job. I know your academic staff is doing an amazing job. And the supporting staff. Let me also acknowledge my good friend Bishop John Harding, head of the school chaplaincy. I'm just meeting your education officer. The principal listed an extensive list of donors, and it is clear that the school has garnered critical support from the community. And I see here my other very good friend, Bishop Renard White. How are you, sir? Another good supporter of the community. I want to also acknowledge the past students who may be here today. I see in the audience our councillor caretaker, Mr. Glennon Salmon, who is also a member of the board. So, I was here some time ago, almost 8 years ago, when we opened a technology center. I don't know how many of you remember that. It was in partnership with the Kamara Foundation and the Career Advancement Program. My recollection of it is that the program was designed to refurbish old computers, but at the same time to teach our technology enthusiastic students about how computers should be reassembled, disposed of, and brought back into service if necessary. And I believe it went well. The program went very well and was a good step in promoting STEM. And I see here the coordinator from STEM, Priscilla Deans from the Ministry of Education. So Penwood has always had a very good history with technology. I recall the very first computer lab that was built, and I believe you still have that computer lab going. That lab would be maybe about 15 years old now. I had a small role in it, in getting that computer lab installed. I believe, again, a collaborative effort. The Jamaica Computer Society and other groups, including the Member of Parliament at the time, who is still the Member of Parliament now, who made significant contributions to having that lab. That lab would by now be in need of retrofitting and upgrading. And I see the chairman looking at me, expecting me to say that I will assist in the rehabilitation and upgrading of that lab. Yes, Mr. Chairman. Let's put together a program to see how we can put in some new computers. I remember at the time we had assisted with the air conditioning. I believe those might still be functioning or probably need of upgrading now. But as your Member of Parliament, I'm always willing to assist in these critical infrastructure developments. Penwood, I'm told, stands for perseverance, excellence, nation building, work, opportunities, order, and development. That's what your principal told me. And your motto is excellence through perseverance. And I believe that that is the story of Penwood. The history of Penwood has not always been a good history. We have had some very difficult times at this school. And I can tell you because I've been here with you for a very long time, and I have been witness to some of the challenges that you face. So you must understand how proud I feel when I see the school now starting on the upward trajectory. And not just as one-off examples, but you are now developing the accumulation of successes, which tells me that good management and good leadership is becoming institutionalized in the school. There are many things that we could talk about. We could talk about violence in the school, which affected the name and reputation of the school terribly. But over the last 2 years, there have been no incidents of note that you have managed to maintain discipline of the school. There were issues about the performance and attendance. There was a time when the attendance fell way below 500. Now you are maintaining a solid register at between 750 to 800, which is you're operating at capacity and maintaining that. There were times when the infrastructure of the school was so terrible that it was difficult to pursue any learning at the school. But we have made investments in the school. We have put in a new block of classrooms. We have improved the general infrastructure. The school board in particular has paid attention to the aesthetics of the school, ensuring that the school grounds are clean, walls continue to be painted, that you have greenery around. All of these things are important in the successful operations of the school. There was a time when there was great discord amongst the teachers, and I would know about this because I pay close attention to what is happening in the school. And I believe now that those matters have been resolved and that the teachers are wholly and solely focused on the education of the children. No doubt, the everyday challenge of maintaining discipline in the school would exist, but you now have, in my mind, a robust school management system in place with your teachers, with your supporting staff, and the important collaboration of the parents, that you are now on the right track to maintain this accumulation of successes. So, in my opinion, this is a school that is transformed. And I would want you to congratulate yourselves on that. Penwood can boast several past students who have done well for themselves. How many of you know of Dr. Mary Nichols? Yes, she was a former principal of the College of Agriculture, Science and Education case, a student of the school. The acting director of the Island Traffic Authority, Mr. Donald Henry. Is a past student of the school. And I know you continue to be a student of the school in terms of helping and assisting and making sure that the school does well. Ian Pepe Goodison, former national footballer, past student of the school. So too was Beanie Man and Shabaran. You know those two persons? Right. So the school has contributed to national life, to national development. One of the other things that I'm pleased to see is that you now have clubs that are functioning. So the extracurricular activities at the school play an important part in the development of the students. So I'm very pleased to see your cadet. I'm very pleased to see your choir. I'm very pleased to see your drum corps. And I know you have 4-H environmental club. And I encourage all the students to participate in those. I paid keen attention to the principal's comment regarding the level of students that are assigned to the school by virtue of their attainment in national examinations. It has always been a challenge how students are distributed to schools. The problem is not an easy one, Madam Principal. It's not an easy one. And the system that we have used for many years, in fact, we had the system of the common entrance, is that we assign students to their school of choice, to their choice. And by and large, the students that you get are as a result of the choices they make. When those preferred places are filled, then we assign students based on availability and proximity. So there is no attempt to place a certain set of students into a particular set of schools deliberately. It is the nature of how the choices of the students, availability of space, and proximity to where students live and the schools that they are coming from. So the challenge, therefore, for the Ministry of Education, for the government, is how do we equip schools to be able to adequately service the students at the level at which they come in. And there is a kind of mismatch of resources in the schools versus needs of the student. Your Master of Ceremonies, who ably conducted the proceedings, mentioned the demand side and the supply side. So on the demand side, the students that you get may require greater support scaffolding, as they call it. It may require greater remediation. But the teachers that you have gone through the system to teach at that level at which they are employed, which is at the high school level, to teach various subjects, and may not all have the capabilities to do remediation. And so the ministry is aware of that and would have put in place various programs to support the students coming into your schools, to help them to very quickly reach up to the standard. So we acknowledge that it's an ongoing debate and discussion as to how we match the resources in the schools to the needs of the students. And I see your education officer nodding, because part of his job would be to work with the principal to ensure that that gap is closed. What we are seeing in the performance of the students at Penwood, as measured by the CHC results, is showing that the measures that have been put in place, that those measures are working. The provision, for example, of this computer lab, and I want to thank the Overseas Examination Council for supporting this and for sponsoring and fully supporting this endeavor, will help the students to improve their computer and technology literacy skills. It will help them in the actual sitting of exams, because where we are moving to in exams is that not all exams are going to be paper-based. As we progress and the information technology becomes more robust in this area, many of our exams will be sat online. And so schools having these labs will be at an advantage, because they will be able to participate in those exams which are conducted online. But it will also help you in your general education for research, for your computer technology, for your document management courses, for your ICT courses. So this is a good move, and one of the programs that will help to ensure that whatever gap that exists, that those gaps are rapidly closed. I want to say directly to the students of Penwood, never make your current circumstances a barrier for your success. You have great potential, and you have the ability to overcome any challenge that currently holds you back. The greatest tool for overcoming barriers to success is your education. It is the greatest tool for transforming your life and for ensuring that you have positive life chances. And I'm encouraging you to take advantage of the education opportunities that you have right here at Penwood. And I'm saying this because many of you come from communities that are difficult communities. And I don't have to go into the discussion about crime and violence that many of you are exposed to on a daily basis. I don't have to go into the social situations that many of you face at home. I don't have to go into that. But for example, many of you are from communities where you don't have proper infrastructure. For example, the water infrastructure. And I'm mentioning that because as I look to my left, the school has invested in 4 huge tanks. And you have others elsewhere, so you have about 10 tanks that you have to fill twice weekly. And many of you are coming from homes where you don't have that regular supply of water, and it must have an impact not just on your domestic comfort, but how you are able to do your schoolwork and prepare for school. And I want you to know that I am not insensitive to that fact. But unfortunately, like many other things in Jamaica, our economic situation has been such that we have not been able to keep up with the proper maintenance and replacement of critical infrastructure. And here's a lesson to be learned. It's just like the computer lab that we did 15 years ago. The average life of the computer would be maximum 2 years. So you would be needing to upgrade and retrofit your computers on that schedule. You may not have changed those computers in maybe 4 years, or maybe longer. The same has happened with our water mains. And the water mains that serve this community of Olympic Gardens and Malines Gardens, in fact this entire area, including areas in Western St. Andrew, areas in Western Kingston, all of those lines have been installed now for more than 60 years. And they have reached a state where they cannot carry the pressure or volume of water without breaking. The lines which carry the main flow into Kingston, some of you who are coming in from Kingston, if you look on your right, you will see a blue pipeline being installed. That is to replace an existing pipeline which carries water in from the Rear Cobre and other sources in St. Catherine into Kingston. That pipeline is not yet complete. As soon as it is complete, some of these areas, not all, will be able to get water or better pressure if you're already getting water. But the line that runs along Spanish Town Road, which supplies all these areas, Olympic Gardens, areas in Southwest St. Andrew, South St. Andrew, Western St. Andrew, West Kingston, that main is in such a state that whenever it is pressurized, whenever we put significant volumes of water and put it under pressure, the line breaks. That's how old it is, that's how fragile it is. And you will see them ever so often digging up on Spanish Town Road trying to correct. So they can't pressure the line, they can just keep a certain volume of water, but that volume of water would not be enough to carry to some of our areas in these communities, and certainly not to go up in stores either. So that is the challenge. The government has allocated significant resources to replace the line, and we have started the procurement process for a new pipeline which will run from the 6 miles area, interconnect to that blue line that you see coming along Mandela, and it will go all the way down to Spanish Town Road, onto North Street, and carry water all the way down to Savannah Park in that area. When that is done, your water challenges will largely be solved. It is going to take some time. It could take a year to happen. It is not a situation that the government is happy about. But that has been the challenge. The pipe has reached its useful life, and we have to change it now. The pipes are being procured, and we're going to move as swiftly as possible to have that pipe in place. In the interim, the NWC has been instructed to employ other measures, which would be to divert and redistribute whatever water it has from other areas so that you can get some water. The problem has been, however, that whilst we have had the infrastructure problem, running parallel to that has been a long-standing drought, which means that we were short almost 20 million gallons of water for Kingston and St. Andrew each day. We have now gotten some rain, and I've asked the NWC, the catchments have improved. They are not at full capacity, but they have improved. And I'm hoping that this rainy season will last, but be gentle on us in terms of damage to infrastructure, so that our catchments can be refilled and that we can use whatever switching of valves to allow water to come from other sources into your communities. In the interim, the NWC has been trucking, and we have had some programs running where we have provided certain households, elderly, large households, with tanks. I believe that that program would have ended. I'm going to seek to have some more allocations made so that we can continue to provide water tanks as much as we can, as many as we can, in various communities. And we have also started the process of procuring more water trucks for the NWC, so that they would be able to ensure that institutions like Penwood, which have to buy water twice a week, that we are actually able to service you and service other critical infrastructure, other critical institutions within the community. So we acknowledge, we know the challenge you face, and we understand the frustration. But the government is doing everything we can, as fast as we can, to have it done. The lesson, of course, is that having completed the IMF agreement, having engaged in a program of fiscal management, we will now complement that with a routine maintenance program to ensure that we are not taken by surprise, unprepared, when infrastructure suddenly fails. The truth is that these water mains should have been replaced 20 years ago, because 50 years or so would have been the useful life of the pipes that are already underground. And as you can see from the roadworks that are taking place, we are not just repairing the road, we are also changing water mains, installing sewer where necessary or possible, and taking the time as well to install the fiber optics for telecommunications, so that Penwood can get high-speed internet to make the investment in your lab meaningful. All of this creates inconvenience. It does. And I will never be the one to say that government could not have more effectively and efficiently implemented the program. There are always issues with management and customer service. But we have learned some lessons, and we are strengthening the various institutions, in particular the NWA, so that when we take on these large works, we make it a priority, a part of the duty, not just to supervise the work and make sure it is done, but to make sure that the public is not unnecessarily inconvenienced while the work is taking place. So, I want to say to the students who have been particularly inconvenienced that we understand, but never ever make any of these issues a barrier to your success. Overcome and succeed in spite of the challenges. That is sometimes just how life turns out for you. But at the end of the day, you're going to be judged on your achievement by the effort you make. So my message to you is, despite these challenges, continue to make the great effort. And I want to thank you for the efforts that you have been making. The students, the teachers, the principal, and indeed the entire community around the school, and all the communities in Jamaica that have had to be so discomforted by the situation now. Generally, Penwood High School is doing well. There's no question about it. Generally, your sports program is doing well. Generally, your academic program is doing well. Generally, the institutional management is doing well. and generally the education leadership is doing well. I want to encourage you, Madam Principal, Mr. Chair, encourage you that despite the challenges, that you have to continue this effort of transforming the school. So I'm going to leave you with some good news. You would have seen just down the road that we are building the new police station. I don't know how many of you remember how long ago that was promised. That was promised long before I became Member of Parliament. So that was over some 30 or 40 years ago. See, I am fulfilling, I didn't make the promise, I was trying to fulfill the promise someone else made. And having made the promise to fulfill the promise, I became the person responsible for the promise. And I'm delivering that promise now, which is that police station will be completed early next year. That will help to improve the order and discipline of the community and reduce the crime and violence that you all experience. You would see right across the road a state-of-the-art first world infant school, which we completed. It's called the Jamaica China Goodwill Infant School. It is doing amazingly well, and I have given an instruction that there must be no fees charged to the students who attend that school. Early childhood education must be freely accessed. It is the intention to build another state-of-the-art first world early childhood institution in another part of this constituency. I am putting together the funding, and I will make an announcement for that later on in this year. But for Penwood, this is your auditorium. Very small, very hot. It's been this way since the school was built some 60 years ago. But I know that you have been discussing for many years that we should go another floor on top of this, refurbish this area, put in some proper window and ventilation, make space for a proper dining area, create more administrative spaces for your teachers and school staff, and more classrooms. Agreed? So I know that the Ministry of Education has already scoped it out. They have the designs and the plans. So I am going to have a discussion with the Minister of Education. And I'm going to ensure that the program is placed on a fast track. But I know that the ministry's budget wouldn't be able to do it all. So I am going to mobilize some funds as well to support the government's effort. So it will be a joint venture. And we hope to have this done, and I see where we could actually start it early next year. So that you would have a proper auditorium that at times could double as your eating area, your canteen area. And that you would have classrooms above it, proper staff room and other administrative facilities. And who knows, maybe you could also put some water tanks on top of that. It's able to carry more water. And that, I believe, would help to improve the school and help with the delivery of quality education. So, ladies and gentlemen, students of Penwood, it was my great pleasure being with you. and I wish you all the success and all the best.